Hey guys, this is going to be kind of the first official video to this channel. We're going to be focusing on things like coaching, giving tips, doing some guides maybe, and highlighting some pro games. So we're going to see how that goes. We're going to be focusing on NoobOfNoobs, who's playing engineer. He's got a decent amount of games played, 46, nice win rate, and the lobby somewhat new, but we'll see how it goes. Big mood, Roy. Happens every fucking time. Feels bad, man. I believe this is a Diamondback rush, so we'll be looking into that. Now, what you want to be doing at the start as engineer is setting up outposts for both mineral and gas income. It's pretty much the only point in the game where you want to use factories for mineral income, early game. I don't like this. He could save, I know it sounds a little excessive to go this far, but he could have saved 10 minerals and soon to be 20, because I'm assuming he makes an SCV here as well, by simply just not making an SCV, an extra SCV other than the one, and just using that one he made to make all of the factories. It saves 20 minerals early game. It is a big deal, despite it only sounding like a very small amount. With incremental economy, it really adds up, that early 20 minerals. So this is a good amount of outposts. I feel like 3 to 4 outposts. And I forgot to mention, one factory per outpost. Very nice, I like that. It's a good number. You don't want to be adding more factories than one to your outposts, because the only real use for them is spawning units. It's not for income, it's just for spawning units. So I like that he's done that. I like that he's gone for 4 outposts. I hope he doesn't go for any more. Now you want to work on getting your starport, because starports are your main economy. They are so much more potent than the factories. This flashlight, completely unnecessary. You've got a big bubble of vision on this lad here, the engineer. No need for the starport. Engineer's just sitting there, as he should be. Use him for vision, don't make a flashlight. No need. 3 widow mines. 2 to 4 widow mines are kind of the golden number for outposts. I'd say stick to 3. If the ling flow is low, you go for 2. If it's high, you go for 4. But that's kind of more advanced. I'd say like a really good number to stick to is 3 widow mines per outpost. You can do a bit less early on.
Our allies are being attacked.
Depending on what your mineral income is looking like. Usually you want to do like 1 or 2 widow mines at your first outpost, because you want to save those 50 minerals and spend it, use it to get your first starport, because the timing of your first starport is paramount. It's the most important thing. It's huge. And by setting up another flashlight, he's putting himself behind again. He needs to be making a starport right now. No, he's making a factory. That's putting you behind so much in economy. And right now that flashlight, the second one he put up, is useless. You don't want to be making you don't want to be saturating your outposts before you get your first starport. Rather, you don't want to be saturating more than 1 outpost before you get your first starport. You want to focus on that mineral income. You want to be balancing the mineral and gas. Ideally, both are 0, because you're spending them perfectly and getting income perfectly. Because you do choose, as engineer, whether you want gas income, make more outposts, or you want mineral income, don't make outposts, and focus on making starports, and save those minerals that you would have put into outposts. For some reason, he still doesn't have a starport.
Our allies' base is
Your
attack.
mineral income is so important in
Our
Kerrigan
allies
Survival,
are being attacked.
especially if you're going to be doing a timing push like Diamondback push. You've already, like, to be quite honest, you've already set yourself back such an insane amount that I'd be surprised if the Diamondback push does anything. Another thing you want to focus on in this game is make sure you keep spending your resources. Right now, these resources are just floating. He's not spending them. He could be using the SCVs at these outposts to be making starports. I have a feeling what he's trying to do is make starports at his engineer. You've got perfectly fine outposts to make starports at with SCVs at them. And it's great because the outposts both defend your starports and your starports defend your outposts because they're a very tanky wall you can use to wall in your outpost. I see he's making one starport now. Looks like he's going for a bit of a mini base. If it were earlier, like, I do like this. This is interesting and unique and not a wrong move. It just took too long to spend those resources. I really want to drive that in there because it's a huge point. It's very bad to be floating resources. He has a lot of gas. Usually you don't want to be using chrono. At this point, you've got so much gas and so little minerals, you want to be chronoing these two starports. The only time you use chrono is one, on factories or starports even, usually factories, to get units out faster. This happens when you're, say, making like an 11-minute base and you want to pump that Odin out really fast. Other than that, you don't want to be using it for just outposts or anything. Or two is when you have a huge excess of gas, low minerals, like here. You want to be using that gas to get more minerals, so you chrono. Or three, after a huge push, or you kill a huge amount of units and then you just want to throw that gas onto all your starports. Which is great for if you have all your starports on hotkeys, which I like to do and I would suggest, and it looks like NoobOfNoobs may be doing that. Again, floating those resources, that's something you don't want. Is making another somewhat mini base. I feel like if I were to give a main suggestion to you right now, NoobOfNoobs, it would be, don't focus on mini bases, focus on just getting those starports out. Make them at all your outposts.
Our allies are being attacked.
The second thing would probably be, once you do that, you'll have a huge mineral income compared to what you have now. You'd also be able to make more outposts, because 5 by 12 minutes is quite lacking. But you're so behind in minerals that it's like you don't want to be making more.
Our allies' base is
and that's because of floating resources. You really want to be spending those resources as often as possible, as soon as you can. This is kind of a nice little mini base because it's disguised as an outpost with the mirage of Jehans or Jehans. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I always just say Jehan. In disguise of his outpost, it's actually a little mini base going on here. Although the Widow Mines somewhat give it away, but oh well. Most of the floating factory, you want to drop that factory down and do something with it. That's just a little thing you want to keep in mind where your outposts and factories are. Looks like he started getting ready to do upgrades, which means I have a feeling the Diamondback push is coming in soon. Usually you want to be doing Diamondback push with 1-1 or 2-2 or 1-2. He's going for 1-1. You always want to get accelerated reload. It just makes your outpost so much stronger. It's such a huge decrease on the Widowmine's cooldown for their attacks.
Our allies' base is under
Always
attack.
want to be getting that. Before you get 1-1, you always want to be getting accelerated reload.
Base
And
is
then you
under
want to get
attack.
armor, just in case your engineer, your squishy engineer runs into Kerrigan or something, and then attack. The other three, I wouldn't suggest, they're more
Our
advanced.
allies are being attacked. Our
Don't
allies'
worry about
base
them.
is under
They're
attack.
not.
Upgrade complete.
They're not that important. It's the accelerated reload, armor, and weapons upgrades you want to focus on. So he's used Chrono here to get his Diamondbacks out, which I'm fine with.
Our allies are being
What is
attacked.
worrying is that he's making them on one side instead of multiple
Our
sides.
allies' base
Now,
is
Noob
under
of Noobs doesn't
attack.
have much of a strong income, so you don't want to spread your army too thin, because otherwise they die to random Zerglings.
Our
But you
allies'
don't want to be
base is
attacking from
under
one
attack.
side, because Kerrigan
Our
just...
allies are being
Zagara
attacked.
just teleports and defends easily. He asks for a scan. All these flashlights can... I know it's annoying spending those minerals,
Our allies'
but
base
you
is
can
under
upgrade
attack.
those flashlights,
Our
at least one of
allies
them,
are
to
being
scan for
attacked.
yourself. It's a bit rough relying on your teammates
Our
in
allies
public
are
games.
being attacked. Our allies' base is under
But
attack.
Zagara can just
Your
teleport in and
forces
defend
are
this
under
fairly
attack.
easily. Oh, this guy's gonna... I bet you this guy's
Your
gonna be stuck
forces
here for
are
the
under
entire
attack.
game. It's getting some gas. He's
Our
not
allies'
spending his
base is
minerals or
under attack.
gas.
Your forces are
And there's
under
Zagara
attack.
teleporting in. If you're attacking from two sides, it'd be a
Our
lot harder
allies'
to
base
defend.
is under attack.
Well, I very much like what he's doing here. He's focusing on the economy
Our allies' forces
and not the
are under
units,
attack.
because
Your forces
the
are
Diamondbacks
under
do a lot of
attack.
damage but have slow attack speed.
Base
So
is
killing
under attack.
Zerglings
Our
isn't very
allies' base
efficient.
is
They
under attack.
aren't gonna do much. He might just straight up die to Kerrigan there. He got scanned, I don't think he
Our
realized.
allies are being
But
attacked.
they kill buildings very fast. You get more
Our
gas
allies'
from
base
killing
is
buildings,
under
and it
attack.
does more damage to
Our
Zerg
allies
killing
are
their
being attacked.
buildings. Look at how much gas he has. Sadly, he doesn't have enough starports to just
Our
throw
allies are being attacked.
100 chrono boosts down.
Our allies' base is under
This dude's
attack.
still stuck
Our
there.
allies are being attacked. Our
He's got
allies'
2-2
base
now.
is under
Still no
attack.
accelerated reload, but to be fair, it's not as important at this point. But you really do want that
Our
upgrade
allies
early
are
on.
being attacked.
Creep spread's coming up here. Yeah, this could prove problematic for him. He could get sniped, especially because they scanned him. I don't think he realized. Outposts going down.
Our allies' base
Not much
is
map
under
control.
attack. Our allies are being attacked. Upgrade complete.
It looks like Eco is a little bit sparse for the team as well. It's not looking good. Here's Kerrigan. Okay, he does realize. I also want to point out you want to be a little bit careful. Keep in mind when you're jumping up cliffs as engineer, you're very vulnerable
Our
because you
allies'
don't have
base
vision up
is
there.
under attack.
They've got a bunch of hydras or bands just
Our
happening.
allies are being
To be
attacked.
there, gonna be in a lot of trouble. Just be mindful of that. But that's, again, like something more advanced. It's just a cherry on top of your play. Oh, you hate to see it.
Our allies are being attacked. Our allies' base
This is the face of
under
a
attack.
broken man.
Our allies' base
I think
is
that
under
death was a
attack.
bit of a gift, to be honest. Dude, it's still
Base
here.
is under
Fucking hell.
attack. Our
There are only
allies
like
being attacked.
maybe 5 outposts, inverted commas, 5 areas where units are being killed. The map control is not looking good. What the fuck is this fortress? Roy a bit salty. Think we've all been there. This Celendis is popping off. Oh no. Oh no. Noob of Noobs is revealing Preston's hidden economy. Uh-oh. I think Kerrigan might find Preston's hidden economy, guys. This is looking bad. Noob of Noobs is just throwing the game, giving away Preston's spot.
Our allies are being attacked. Your
The
forces
long
are
distance
under
mining
attack.
probes. It was gonna carry. And maybe it'll carry, but
Our allies' base
at
is
least the
under attack.
Diamondback's there.
Your forces are under attack.
Diamondback's there for moral support. You know, the push didn't go too well, but the amount of times I've seen Kerrigans kill themselves on Odins is
Our allies
is
are
quite
your
difficult to
forces
count,
are
so
under attack.
he may actually pull through here. But I think that's their only win condition. Jaeheim's eco, it's pretty low.
Your forces are under
The Dark
attack.
Templar's eco is low. Jaeheim is here to help. Those ghosts will do quite a bit, actually. Although there seem to be no mines, so you kind of want fire bats. Fire bats would be very helpful. Corrupt is slick.
Our
He got out
allies are being
just in
attacked.
time. Those Thors are still alive and they are clearing everything up. They might be able to hold this actually. Whether or not they can win, I'm not too sure. But they can hold this, I think. Does Jaeheim have blink? Yeah, he does. Oh, and the trap. This might be a dig Kerrigan. If the game just ends here. I'm still reporting Noob of Noobs for revealing Preston's economy.
Our allies
Holy shit,
are
is
being attacked.
Kerrigan actually gonna kill herself?
Our allies are being attacked.
Okay, no, they did clear it out. I don't think Jaeheim has much in the way of reinforcement. His economy is low. He has no blink, no medevac, it just died after he created it.
Allies are being attacked.
I think this is a dead scientist. But it's possible he gets out. If he gets out, they might be able to create a scenario where Kerrigan
Our
kills
allies'
herself
base
trying to break
is
a
under
base.
attack.
But if Kerrigan plays a
Our
long
allies
game
are
and just
being
economies, this is GG. Thor might carry. Let's see it go. Nope, Thor died. Kerrigan's map hacking, I think. Yeah, Blink's down, Medevac's down, Jaeheim's down. What's not down are these fucking starports. Noob of Noobs has
Our
fuck all
allies are
economy.
being
This is
attacked.
looking
Our
rough.
allies' base
The
is
Diamondback
under
is still
attack.
here though, so
Base is under
99% chance to win.
attack. Our allies' base is under attack.
The it's rough. I don't really like giving this tip because
Allies are being
easier
attacked.
said than
Your
done.
forces are under
But
attack.
I feel like you're focusing too heavily on one
Our
unit.
allies' base is
If
under
you were to
attack.
say control your engineer and at least one SCV on the map, you wouldn't be sitting at 9k minerals. You'd be sitting at
Base is under
plus
attack.
9k
Your
income
forces
because you'd be
our
making
allies are
starports
being
constantly.
attacked.
But you're floating so many minerals that you're so far behind on income.
Our allies'
I think
base
he
is under
has
attack.
plus probably plus 140 minerals per 3 seconds
Our
or
allies'
something,
base is under attack. Your
which is
forces are
not
under attack.
much at 30 minutes in. We've got another little base coming out. If those Psy vessels irradiate, this could be really good. No, he's not using irradiate, unfortunately.
Our allies'
It's a
base
very
is
strong
under
ability,
attack.
I'd suggest it.
Our allies are being attacked. Your forces
Oh shit,
are
it still
under
holds
attack.
though.
Our allies' base is under attack.
Odin's destroy Hydralisks. Preston floating around, he's He's doing his thing. It no longer holds. This is dead. Never mind. I thought Kerrigan might actually kill herself, but I think at this point it's safe to say GG. DT's economy is, behind, but he's alive. I feel like it's too late for him to be able to
is under attack.
solo the game, though, really. Oh shit. The immortal medic team. This actually can't die. This can't die, dude. They have infinite health. This D-back can't die. This Diamondback can't die.
Attack. Your forces are under attack.
I think this might be where it goes down. Rest in peace, Preston. So now I'm gonna give a list of the tips and critiques that I would give to Noob of Noobs. I'm gonna go kind of in descending order from the game time as to when they occurred. So the first one is unnecessarily spending minerals early game. Making those extra SCVs, that unnecessary flashlight, and then the extra unnecessary flashlight. And even making maybe, let's say, one too many widow mines at your first outpost. It puts that first starport behind quite a bit, which leads into the second point. You really want to focus on getting that first starport as soon as possible. It's your main priority early game. It's what you really want to be focusing on. Once you got that first starport, then you can move to your second to your secondary plan. Your first starport should always be your first goal. And then floating resources. It occurred both preventing you getting an early first starport and also preventing you from getting a good income throughout the entire game when you could have been placing extra starports. At some points, especially when you were controlling the Diamondbacks, it's quite understandable to miss out on it. It's not easy to control multiple things at once perfectly, but those first 350 minerals should be spent almost immediately, no matter what. It's all you want to be focusing on. And the main reason I feel like that didn't happen is the next point: making starports with SCVs elsewhere. Elsewhere meaning away from your engineer. Don't focus on making the starports right next to your engineer. You don't have to. You've got SCVs at all your outposts. They're free to make the starports and just place them down. There's no real harm in having them at your outposts. Sure, Kerrigan may go to them, but you should have multiple outposts that it really won't set you behind too much, and it's not like they're gonna be all at your outposts. You want to be placing them around the map as long as at your outposts. You can even wall your allies' eco with them, and then when they get attacked, like by a random zergling, you lift them and then place them back down. That takes quite a bit more attention, and I'd say it's an advanced strategy, but it's something you may want to look into. It's a very useful thing in pre-mades, and quite useful in publics too. And then the outpost and mini base layout could use a bit of work to make them more optimal. It's nowhere near as serious of a point, especially compared to floating minerals. But it'll just improve it a little bit to kind of think about your layout abuse the pathing of Zerglings. And what I mean by that is, let's say you do make starports at your outposts, you kind of wall off your outpost and leave a 1x1 gap, which funnels Zerglings in, so they don't get a quick surround on your Widow Mines, and they don't all get to attack the Widow Mines. There's not a lot of surface area, and it really slows down and inhibits Zerg's ability to kill your outposts, especially with melee units. It can just make things just a bit stronger. And with that mini base, you'd get an extra outpost out of it as well. It can really make a decent difference. And speaking of outposts, you want to be remaking outposts after they get destroyed. Say you float a factory and hopefully any starports that were along with it, float it into the air and they remain. And then as Zerg goes away, you want to place those factories and starports back down and make that outpost right back up. You don't want to be keeping it floated or them floated. It's just a lot of wasted potential. The next point is getting accelerated reload via Widow Mines. You really want to make use of that upgrade. It's very, very strong of an upgrade. It reduces your Widow Mines cooldown by such a large amount and increases the power of your outposts by an insane amount. And even late game, you'll be wanting to use Widow Mines because it's your main form of AoE. The second form of AoE would be using irradiate on your side vessels, which I would also suggest. But Widow Mine's low supply, low cost. It's a really strong form of AoE in your bases. Speaking of bases, when you do that mini base with the Odins, once you got the Odins out, you do want to be making Widow Mines, preferably with accelerated reload, of course, because you need that AoE versus Zerglings. Because your Odins have single shot. Your D-backs, your Diamondbacks are terrible against Zerglings, and your Odins just won't kill them fast enough. Having those Widow Mines to do that AoE and clear out huge amounts of Zerglings fast, hidden under and behind your Odins and starports, very necessary, as you can see when you kind of got overrun by Zerglings. And then the last point is multi-prong attacks with your Diamondbacks, or really with anything when you want to do a push. I guess I'll put another point in there. You could do more than just Diamondbacks with your Diamondback push, although it's a lot more difficult, like a lot more difficult. But using Widow Mines, or alternatively Science Vessels, is very strong with pushes, early pushes. High skill, but very high reward to be able to do that. And doing it from multi-prong is almost necessary against decent Zagaras or even decent Kerrigans who are going to defend. Attacking from 2 points just makes it so much more difficult to defend, and more is not always better, but it definitely can be. You don't want to be spreading your army too thin, because when you attack, move them mid, they will be dying to random Zerglings if it's, say, 2 or 3 Diamondbacks coming from 8 positions, as opposed to 6 Diamondbacks coming from 4 positions, or even better, you kind of want to be going for something like 9 Diamondbacks coming from 3 positions. You kind of want to find that balance, but 2 sides should really be the minimum you want to be attacking from. And then for the positives of the play, there was the first one that came into effect quite fast was the factories per outpost. You are making 1 factory per outpost, and that is pretty much the perfect number of factories per outposts. The only real exception is potentially putting more around mid-game if you want to do a Diamondback push from multiple sides and make Diamondbacks from your outposts. but definitely early game. You don't want to be making multiple factories per outpost because your factories are not your main source of income by any means. They're almost negligible when it comes to that. Like when it comes to after your first starport, really. And they're only really used for making units or really just widow mines. So it was good to see just one factory per outpost. And another thing is the widow mines per outpost. You just did 3 widow mines per outpost. I mentioned 2 to 4 is really the range you want to go for, with 3 being the obvious, like, best to fit just pretty much every outpost. You can go less or more, like 2 to 4, to kind of maximize the effect you get out of the outpost depending on the ling traffic. In other words, like the density of zerglings coming through. But 3 is a really good, just basic amount to go with. It's just a really, not too many, not too little. You also didn't have all your starports in one location, although they weren't spread out as much as you want them to be. You could have definitely spread them out a lot more. At least having them not in one location just made it so much better for your economy, because if they get found and you have to float them all your economy is just down. So having them in, I think you had 2, perhaps 3 locations, um, much better than having them in one. But you do want to go for more, so just keep that in mind as well. And also the use of chrono boost, I quite like that. Although you could have used it a bit earlier when you had a lot of gas and no minerals on your starports. You didn't just randomly chrono boost your factories. You chrono boost the factories that were making units that you wanted really fast. That's exactly what you want to do. You chrono boost the starports, like after you needed all those minerals to start making diamondbacks. Again, pretty much what you want to do. That was really good. And speaking of diamondbacks, when you did that attack and you focused on the economy, that was very important. That was, although it didn't end up paying off too hard, that's mostly a result of floating minerals and an efficient build order. The attack itself, although delayed, was very, very well done. You sniped a lot of buildings, didn't feed too much, got a lot of gas out of it. And then the upgrades before you did your Diamondback push were very good. Relative to the time in the game, the upgrades were lacking, but relative to your income, the upgrades were pretty much exactly what you want. You didn't spend too many minerals on upgrades, which would leave you lacking in the Diamondback army, and then it's just not worth it. You didn't spend too little, because those upgrades do make a difference. It was a very good amount. The 1-1 or 1-2 that you went for relative to the mineral income you had.